Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today's video is going to be a video that I wanted to do for quite a while. This is going to be the introduction to a series of, let's say, simple tutorials. Tutorials for newbies or newer players or people who've been playing for quite a while but have no experience with certain characters. And I wanted to start with Moji because of a very simple thing. A lot of people don't know how to properly do her main source of damage, how to properly use it or left click and right click. In fact, I've seen people be suggested to just use your left click and your right click, and that makes no sense. So I'm going to teach the basics of the character, and I'm also going to teach you a couple of tricks, maybe even considered advanced tricks, so stick around for that. But first, I want to talk about her lore. The reason why I want to do that is because on these little videos, I'm going to talk about the lore of the character, because it will be an interesting way to also give you the knowledge of the lore, since I love lore and I love to do videos related to lore. We'll also have a video coming up soon with the entire lore up until now, so pay attention to that. Subscribe so you don't miss the upload. And let's talk about her lore then. Her lore basically is pretty simple. She is a Lepori, which is sort of like a rabbit sort of breed race where they are very powerful magicians almost. They live in the forests, and when this entire war started, Moji decided on her own, I'm gonna go and, I'm gonna summon some great spirits and so on, which could be even considered Po and Lee, which is the dragon, in case you didn't know, a little lizard thing with two heads that she owns. It's Po and Lee, and basically she went into the war, basically probably just killing everyone in her sight. Like, I want to end the war, I don't care who wins, I'm just ending this and I'm destroying everything. That's basically what she did. Now, recently we had another Lepori being released into the game, which was Ray. Ray is also a Lepori, but if you probably already noticed, she's a tiny little bit different, right? She looks more like humanoid. As far as we are concerned, sorry about that, she's also a Lepori, that's 100% sure, but they have transformation powers. They can transform things, and including themselves. Ray transformed herself into looking a little bit more like that, probably so that she could just blend in with the house Aiko. That's where she works, that's where she lives. She works for Leon. Okay. So if you didn't know that, you already know, but one day when we go back and try to do the tutorial for her, I'll also just bring it back. Now, Moji didn't transform herself, she just kept herself as a rabbit, and yes, it's a she. A little interesting fact, if you never noticed, her hat has two pointy little sides instead of one, because she has the 2 ears, and each ear goes into each point. So there you go, little fun fact. Now, she's also hoping that when the entire war ends, she can just come back to the place where she lives and to her friends and family and just relax. Okay, so that's the lore of Moji right now. There's nothing like extra great, like really crazy. There is a promotional video for Moji, but that video doesn't really explain much, so just forget it. Okay, now let's go into the explanation of her abilities. So, as I was saying, a lot of people have been spreading around that to play Moji, all you need to do is hold left click and right click at the same time, and that's it. Like, you're set to go. That is a lie. That's an absolute lie, and I'm gonna teach you how to properly do damage with her. All right, and then I'm gonna also teach you how to do this little speed bunny hop. This is one of the advanced tips that I'm going to show you, and I'm gonna give you here an example of her main fire. If I hold left click and right click at the same time, this is going to happen. Now, you can still do pretty good damage, but the thing is that if you notice, once you hit them with the right click, there's a star showing up in top. This is what you're aiming for. You want to get that star to the max by holding your right click close to the enemy, and it also does damage, by the way. And when it's a full star, that's when you go left click and do 1000 damage, okay? If you do it like this, you're never going to do the 1000 damage. You're going to go 500, 600, because they changed this. Before, it would be, depending on the points of the stars, you would do the exact percentage of that 1000 damage. So people could actually do that, but eventually it got changed, and now it only gives you extra damage. As you can see here, it doesn't give you any extra damage there. It doesn't give you any extra damage there. It only gives you extra damage on the last three parts at the start. So might as well just try to get that 1000, okay? Just always hold your right click, and then that's when you go with your left click. Her right click has been recently buffed, so there's a very good range, as you can see here. This is massive, so do take advantage of that. But please, by all means, do not go like really far away and start doing this until you find the range of where you can do damage, okay? Just don't do that. All right, you want to use your movement ability to get close to your enemy, and that's when you then start bursting them down. That's how you have to play her. I'll explain the bunny hopping soon enough so you can get that extra distance as fast as possible. Now, this isn't the only way to get those stars, all right? There is another way which will help you do more damage while also protecting yourself at the same time, which is the magic barrier, your Q. If you're on controller, I don't know the keybind, but it doesn't matter. If you hold Q and an enemy hits you, a star will show up, so free 1000 damage. This is a very cool ability because you become totally immortal, literally immortal, all right? You don't die during this ability. There's nothing you can do. Here's a little fun thing. If you're up against a Vora and she's about to execute you, if you buy full resilience, you'll get out of the stun earlier, and as soon as that scythe is about to land, you can just press your magic barrier and you'll survive. So there you go. This is like a simple example of how you can use it to survive. And here's another tip. Their Q does not make every single thing create a star for the enemies. Unfortunately, for some reason, for example, if a dredge hits you with an harpoon, unless they already fixed that, it will not create a star for him. So don't just be expecting every time to have that extra star. What you can do, however, is do like a very fast damage like this. Forget the ultimate, that was a mistake. But as you just saw there, I did the normal damage. I did a star, pulled up my Q, she did another shot, and now I didn't have to like take damage while trying to get the second star. So that's a little bit of a combo that you can do there, which is really good. Now, let's talk about her ultimate. There's a couple of little tips and tricks that I want to give you here for the ultimate, so pay attention. So, her ultimate, first of all, goes in a straight line, very far range. Okay, you can literally transform somebody like this far. Okay, there you go, the star, the cookie there. If you don't know what the ultimate does, well, I mean, then you are very, very, very bad at Moji right now, because this is why you're gonna need this video, okay? You transform somebody, you get close to him, and you eat them. They don't take any damage, they cannot be healed. It's like the cookie has its own HP pool, and it can never be changed, okay? So, I'm sorry, but there's no other way to do this. You have to literally transform them and walk up to them. But this is where cooldown management comes in. You wanna save your cooldowns, all of them. Both your scamper, which is the dash, and your Q, which is the magic barrier. Please, by all means, save these both cooldowns. I'm going to explain why. If you ult and you press your Q while going to eat them, you're still in your magic barrier. You're literally immortal while you're walking up to your enemy to eat him. So this is fantastic, all right? And if this isn't enough, you can also use your scamper, your dash. You ult, you use your scamper, and then you get them with the scamper still active. And if you want to go even further than this, you can do all the three together. So you are far away, you need to get them with your ultimate, you ult, you dash, you magic barrier, and you just passed on by with that enemy right up at your mouth, all right? There's no way that the enemy can stop you at this point. And now I'm going to teach you how to do this bunny hopping, because it's also going to be interesting for you to do it together with the ultimate, okay? So the first thing you want to do is go into your options, go into keybinds, and here you're going to search for Moji. When you reach to the Moji, on the jump, you want to leave the space bar there on the left side, but you want to go into the right side and you want to put your scroll down, like just scroll down with your wheel on the mouse, okay? What is this going to do? Every time I scroll down, she's going to be jumping, right? You just constantly like spinning that wheel back, and it's doing this. Now, the trick for the bunny hopping, however, is that you use your scamper and you start jumping before the ability ends, you cancel it, and then from then on, you just start spamming your mouse wheel back, okay? So you go, cancel, jump, and now I'm just scrolling back. Here, it didn't work too well, but you can just come in here into the training grounds and train this as much as possible. Cancel, and you can see here the speed that I have, which if you do a normal scamper, and I'm going to show you here, and you keep going, as you can see, there's no momentum whatsoever. You can even try to go without canceling the ability, but it's not going to work as well. Okay, I'm going to be jumping here. Like, it still works, but there's no momentum after. So having that ability canceled midway, you can even go as far as, like, getting that extra jump height by getting next to a wall. That's even an extra step. Like, this actually requires a lot of skill. So when somebody tells you playing Moji requires no skill, yeah, it doesn't for the base kit. But once you want to try to do something like this or the ultimate combos, yeah, it requires a little bit of skill. I'm sorry to say. All right, but this is basically the tips that I have for you. I have one extra tip. This is based on the main fire. So remember how I said like right click and left click are bad at the same time? They're not bad against shields. If you want to burst down a shield, that's what you want to do. You're on apply, you're left click and right click at the same time. And here's why. Now, as you can see here, there's no extra effect on the body of Victor. But if I buy Cauterize, you see those little yellow and skulls and little, you know, that's the Cauterize effect. Now notice this, your right click also applies Cauterize, which means that your both heads of Moji, right click and left click, will apply items of both like Life Rip, Wrecker, and Cauterize. So if you end up buying Wrecker, which I mean I'm not gonna suggest it every time, there may be times for that, like let's say a Torvald header's in the enemy team. This means that both your right click and your left click at the same time will always be applying Wrecker and Cauterize. So that's perfect to burst down those shields, okay? I think Moji is probably one of the only champions in the game that actually has two primary fires instead of the one primary fire and an alternative fire. But both her primary fires work together to finally do the max DPS you can do, the max damage per second you can do, okay? So if you don't do with this, like the right click, start, and then left click, you're basically just wasting potential damage. As for the other tip, if you're very far away, please don't do this. You're not going to do anything. In fact, I think you go slower if you use a right click, or if it doesn't, it does feel like it. So, and if you're really far away, what you can do is you go and left click them. It's still 300 damage. This used to be 100 damage before, and now it's 300 damage, so it's fantastic. But you can even go as far as, like, you put yourself in an open position far away from people, and they only need to touch your magic barrier. As soon as they touch that, you just go left click, and you did 1,000 damage, and maybe, like, a couple, like, 300, 600, 900 extra damage by just sniping them. And eventually you can actually get some kills like that. This was actually a very good quality change that they did because 100 damage really did nothing, okay? Now let's talk about cards and talents. For me, the best talent she has is Toot. Boom Boom only should work for you if you have two healers or a very, very strong healer. Alright, you can go with a loadout where you have a lot of life rip and maybe some kill to heal and etc. Like, and you do great, sure, but you're missing a lot of potential heals. Toot is literally 600 free health back, okay, every time you scamper. Now, your scamper is already 7 seconds. You can go and do a loadout, which takes away 2 seconds. So every 5 seconds, you're going to be healing for like 600, all right? And if you go and buy Chronos, that'll be even worse, because it's 4 seconds. So every 4 seconds, you're going to have another scamper and just heal yourself. I mean, I don't know if that's not interesting to you, but having constant healing, this is almost like a Vora's sort of passive, and you can just constantly heal yourself over time, okay? But let's go back into the talents. This one is pretty good. I love it, especially because it doesn't require any kills. This one does a little bit extra damage for hitting multiple people, but I do have a tip for that on how you can fight multiple people at the same time. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we got Snack Attack, which is completely busted right now. It's actually broken, but it requires you to kill people. First of all, sometimes the plus signs don't even show up. It's actually a big bug, massive bug. Second of all, the second bug is that when you catch one of these plus signs, it doesn't just heal you for 900. It heals the entire team independently of whatever they are. So this is literally broken. You can use this as a second support in your team as long as you play safe and you don't go in with Moji and just die and you lose this effect, okay? But basically, you'll have to have assists on somebody. You'll have to assist at least like this, and if that person dies, a drop sign will, a little plus sign will show up, okay? Now, let's go back into the boom situation, boom situation. As you can see here, the distance I'm going with the bunny hopping is insane. The boom situation, what I have for you, if you have to fight 2 or 3 enemies at the same time, instead of trying to like just, oh, I'm gonna go for boom because I can hit them all at the same time, try to use your ultimate sometimes, not just to kill one person instantly, but to save yourself from certain situations. If you transform somebody, that somebody will not be able to hit you. You'll not be able to do damage, but you will be able to put a magic mark on him so that as soon as the transformation ends, you can just do 1,000 damage straight away to them. So you got 2 enemies, you transform one, you start bursting down the other one, and look at that. There's a mark on him. As soon as that ult ended, I had 1,000 damage right to his face, and it saved me because that person who got transformed didn't do any damage to me. So, there you go. These are all the tips that I got here for you. I only have one loadout that I have suggested for you. This is the one I've been using, and I love it. You should definitely give it a try. It's good at max because you have more mobility. She's a flank. She doesn't have mobility, and this definitely will help you. You have even extra heals on the duration of Scamper, which is 100, so you'll be healing 700 every time. You have Peppy, which almost works like a Chronos, but it requires eliminations. It's eliminations, not kills. You can just get assists and get 20% off of every single cooldown. And you got Greater Good, which will act almost like a lifesteal. But you need to have those big stars, okay? If you do not do the stars, then you're just wasting potential. So please, by all means, do that. And Symbiotic at 3, because it will give me extra heals from that Life Rip and the Tooth when I'm below 50%, okay? And if you have to run away, again, like you're in a bad spot, just try to do your Scamper on your Magic Barrier at the same time to run. Also, I almost forgot about this little tip, but you can actually attack while doing the ult animation. You just need to attack. That's it. As soon as you press the button, make sure you're aiming to the place. And then you can just go and continue to attack because the ult still goes out, okay? And if you want to have one final, this is not important, this is not even necessary, but a little interesting tip? Sure. You can actually inspect the weapons and still hold your right click. It doesn't work for your left click. This is a stupid thing, but hey, if you want to do it, it works. Okay, so this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys start playing Moji a little bit better now with this. I'm going to do this for every single champion that I can. I'm going to try to go for the champions that are a little bit worser to understand, like harder to understand. I don't even know the word exactly, but the champions that you guys are probably having the worst time with, that's the ones I'm going to be trying to aim to go for first. So if you have any suggestions, please by all means go down to the comments below and tell me which champions you want to see next. If you have any extra tips for Moji that I probably have missed here on the video, please by all means go in the comments down below, and I'll try to grab all the information I need and put on one comment and make it the pinned comment right at top. So if there's extra info, since we're talking about it, items, just go for Cauterize. Kill to Heal is massive, and for the rest, you just go with whatever necessary. I tend to go a lot with Nimble and Resilience because there's a lot of CC, and I don't want to be stunned or anything like that. But it really depends on comps, enemy comps, and so on. So, you know. But even then, if there's anybody else who has a massive tips about playing Moji, I'm going to gather them all up and put them in that link. And if you want to ask for any sort of question live, I usually am live on my own channel, Kreepers YT, on Twitch. Go on Twitch and just search for it. Link will be in the description as well. And I also often will be streaming on the Paladins Game channel, so just, you know, give a little jump over there and see if I'm live. If not, hey, you can always talk to the other streamers that are there as well. A lot of them know a lot about the game, and it's really, really helpful for a lot of players, especially new players. So thank you so much for watching. That'll be it for today. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. And if you want to see the rest of the videos that I'll be doing in the tutorials, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, have a wonderful time.